What a Euro 2024. Good morning and thank you for joining us this morning. Depending on where you're joining and where you're watching from, it's a new time again. It's a new month. It is a new day. Happy new month to all of you, as I can say that. Welcome. We are Voice of the People TV, and this is the Sports Republic Show. My name is Kizike. I'm happy to be with you again. Thank you so much for staying with us on the show this morning. We'll be talking about a whole lot of things, but then we'll start off from the Nigerian news. Super Eagles, to be exact. Sunday Oliseh and also Mikel Obi has been rift and has been trending on social media. But we are here to dissect, analyze, and just talk about this one. It's a critical moment. Now, Sunday Oliseh, ex-Super Eagles manager, fires back at Mikel Obi, targeting him as the worst Super Eagles coach ever. Now, you can imagine Mikel Obi come to say that the worst manager ever that have managed me in the national team is Sunday Oliseh. And Sunday Oliseh also have got something to say about Mikel Obi. And it's been trending on social media. But then, let's quickly go with the details. Sunday Oliseh, former coach of the Nigerian national team, Super Eagles, has responded to scathing criticism from Obi Mikel, a former player under his tenure. Now, Mikel Obi had publicly denounced Oliseh as the worst coach he had ever played under, sparkling a heated exchange between the two. Now, you expect the social media to carry out this one very well. Oliseh defended his coaching abilities, highlighting his achievements and experience in the sport. He also took a swipe at Mikel's personal life, referencing comments Mikel made about his family members, threatening to blackmail him if he stopped sending them money. Now, Oliseh suggested that Mikel Obi remark were a cry for help, implying that his former player is struggling with the personal issues. Now, it's about both men talking so deep. Now, the exchange has sparked a lively debate in the Nigerian football community, with some supporting Oliseh's stance and others backing Mikel's criticism. Now, the tension between the two former national team members has added fuel to the fire, highlighting the intense rivalries and personalities within the sport. Now, let me take you back quickly to the throwback about that Mikel Obi won the podcast. You know the story. Now, speaking of this podcast, Obi won. Mikel Obi, like you could say, John, who had a huge fallout with Oliseh during his time as a coach of the team, tagged the former captain as the worst ever to handle the Nigerian national team in recent times, saying he was confused and bitter. He, Sunday Oliseh, had absolutely no clue of what and how a manager can be. He was a fantastic guy playing the game of football, but as a coach, he was very terrible. He absolutely has no clue of what he was doing. Mikel Obi said this on his podcast to be one. Now, the players never understood. So I'm still quoting Mikel Obi what he said. He said the players never understood anything Sunday Oliseh was doing, and he did not also know what he was doing because he was just confused and came in and destroyed the team when we were together. His excuse when he got fired was that the NFF and the FA did voodoo on him not to succeed. He was easily the worst manager I played under, according to the report. Now, he went as far as saying he was so bitter with everybody, so jealous with everybody, and had no respect of speaking for anyone, talking to anybody, whether the physiotherapy or anyone. Now, reacting to those comments, Mikel Obi said about Oliseh, very interesting, I'll tell you. Sunday Oliseh, who also was a former Super Eagles captain, said Mikel needs helping hands, throwing shades at him, trying to do what he couldn't do as a footballer after his career. He said, I think the kid, you saw the word now, he said, I think the kid, Obi Mikel, needs some help. I think the boy needs some help. He told report, I don't need to justify myself as a good coach to the kid. I call him the kid because my son is 27 years old. And when he made a statement, I heard about it and I was like, I don't have to talk about it, but I would like to help the boy because I think he needs some help. You cannot become a legend with your mouth. You cannot achieve what you couldn't achieve on the pitch as a footballer. We're talking and doing the podcast thing. So you can see the rift and how big this one is about Obi Mikel, and then, talk about Sunday Oliseh. Sunday Oliseh, everyone knows he used to be a disciplinarian. But then, is he really a disciplinarian? How good have they been with the Super Eagles? Short stint, 2015, 2016 was the time, and Mikel Obi is still coming out strong and saying, don't worry, I'll keep you more. I'll tell you more about their story. It looks very interesting. Let's go with the next one that says, I beg them. Sunday Oliseh has finally revealed, this feels like a show about Sunday Oliseh. He has revealed the players that NFF instructed him not to invite during his time as the manager. Now, it's about the body again. How would the NFF tell our coach or players not to invite? According to reports, just let's be realistic. How possible would it be that I'm given the job at the NFF and they want to still control me? And a lot of people are beginning to say that this has been trending out. The NFF wants to tell you what to do. Even if you're the manager of the team, it doesn't make any difference. So why would you tell me what not to do and what to do? I should be the one doing the job because I'm the manager. But quickly, let's let you know that former Super Eagles midfielder Sunday Oliseh has shed light on the difficulties he faced during the tenure as the head coach of the Nigerian national team. Speaking on an interview session via YouTube, Oliseh detailed the numerous obstacles he encountered, including issues with certain players and lack of support from the NFF. Talk about the Nigerian Football Federation. Oliseh, who served as the Super Eagles coach from July 2015 to February 2016 years, shared a reason for resigning from the position. Let me quote Oliseh. I love to quote them well. It's not me saying. According to Sunday Oliseh, he said, I coached the Super Eagles for 14 games. 1-4. We lost only 2 games. One was a friendly against Congo in Belgium. Now, despite this, Oliseh revealed he was not paid for 4 months, while his assistants went unpaid for 6 months. Additionally, he fell ill and received no support from the Federation, forcing him to spend thousands of dollars on his treatment. After being unpaid for 4 months and my assistant being unpaid for 6 months, according to Oliseh, he said, and me falling sick and not getting any support from the NFF, spending thousands of dollars to cure myself, I'm still being laughed at by some of your media friends for falling sick. I resigned because I didn't get the support that I needed. He emphasized that Nigeria was still on track to qualify for the 2017 Nations Cup at that time of his resignation, needing only to beat Egypt. He said, I left the job and Nigeria was still on track to qualify for the 2017 Nations Cup. Nigeria needed to beat Egypt and just to qualify. Oliseh also revealed that the NFF instructed him, this is my point now, the NFF instructed him to ignore 3 specific players who had reportedly caused problems for the previous coach, Sunday Oliseh, Stephen, of blessed memory. He noted that there was already a significant rout within the team upon his arrival, and the NFF identified. So the players' names are the likes of Vincent Enyeama, Obi Mikel, and Emmanuel Emenike as the problematic. It's crazy, as the problematic players in the team. Now, he's saying these ones are the major problem. So they are titled problematic players in the team. Now, despite this instruction, Oliseh, according to reports, pleaded for the opportunity to convince the players to return to the team and align with his philosophy. Now, they had asked me not to invite the players anymore to the Super Eagles, Oliseh said. I begged them to give me the opportunity to talk to them. Let me share my philosophy with them and let's see how it goes. Oliseh also recounted his effort to reach out to these players. He described driving over 400 kilometers to meet Vincent Enyeama, taking him out for lunch, and spending a day with him to explain his vision for the team. When this happened, I called the captain of the team, Vincent Enyeama. I drove almost 200 kilometers, according to him, and we had dinner together. Oliseh also faced issues with Enyeama just before a crucial match against Tanzania. And he said again, we were playing on Friday. Everybody came into camp, but on Wednesday, Vincent Enyeama was not there. He informed us on Wednesday evening that he was not going to come because he was going to bury his mother, who died 3 months ago. Oliseh revealed this. Meanwhile, Oliseh's Sunday attempts to contact Obi Mikel, were less unsuccessful. It didn't go well. Now, he said, I sent messages to Obi Mikel, but he never answered my call. I never called, and he never called me back. He totally ignored me and played the big ego. Now, I went to London with my assistant to speak with Mikel and Victor Moses. I gave them an appointment to the hotel. 2 teammates at the same club, Chelsea. Moses Victor came to the meeting. The other one refused to come. Who is the other one? And it's Mikel. Now, on Emenike's issue, Oliseh expresses regret over his decision to retire from international football. He said, before I go further, the biggest regret I had with the Super Eagles was when Emenike called and said, I'm retiring as a national team player. Working with Emmanuel Emenike was the best thing I had as a Super Eagles coach. He was a great guy. He was a nice guy. He was against what the NFF had told me about him. Oliseh revealed. Now, let me talk about this. I will not just jump. Let me go back to the first one where we talked about John Mikel Obi and Sunday Oliseh. I'll get there. Now, Mikel, we all know, on a podcast. Everybody knows. Now, a lot of players will want to end the game and do something else related to the game. Why some want to go off entirely? But Mikel feels it's ideal for me to talk and have a podcast, invite players to come share their, whatever they felt during their playing days, and also recent players. Now, I would fault this both one I just gave out. I feel like we talk too much. That's the best word to use. We talk. I love to use the word we talk too much. So when I say we talk too much, I won't put in saying Nigerian players, managers talk too much. Sometimes some things are not meant to be revealed. Now, funny how this is past, and we've been hearing it. Today's, we keep moving, the 3rd of July, and how many days, how many years back, how many months back, and we are going back today. So it's one of those distractions I talk about the national team, when we know that everything at stake now is just to go to the World Cup. Now, let me come to Mikel Obi's part. You can do what you want to do, but tend to do it right. Mikel Obi, I know the fallout with Sunday Oliseh, who he doesn't feel. Now, you heard Oliseh saying, I invited him, Victor Moses, and I went to London. When I hear we traveled to London, I begin to wonder, whose money? So, we talked about the NFF, Guzar, His Excellency, the other time, traveling to see Victor Moses. Was it Ekong? He went to see Salisu Yusuf. He went to see Moses Simon in Nantes. These people travel with our money. And he went with his assistant. Our money, Nigerians' money. Now, let's say this. I'm not going to fault any of them, but I'm just going to tell you that for me, no, I should fault them, right? But I'm not going to take side. That's a better word to use. Now, Mikel Obi's issue, coming to say that Oliseh is the worst manager he's ever worked, sound like a rift. So sound like an unforgiving thing in his mind. Now, let's go with Sunday Oliseh. He's had issues with a lot of players. Good news, he was talking about Emenike. But on the time with Enyeama, we know the story. Now, Sunday Oliseh that I know is used to be our ex-captain in our national team. Everybody loved him during the playing time. But I love to say that it's not everyone who plays the game. It's not everyone who plays the game that knows how to manage the game. That's one. Secondly, while I say we talk too much, why will you be telling us you took Enyeama out for lunch or dinner? Why? Do we need to know you went out with your captain? With the goalkeeper? We don't need to say. We don't need. I feel like the only thing that will stand out well for me would be when you criticize the NFF, bring out what NFF is doing wrong. I will buy into it. I will love it. NFF, they might not be doing it right. I'm not in the section. I'm not in the sector. It's not on me. It's not on the host. It's not on the analyst of sports or football to say what's wrong with the NFF, what they do on the inside. We can only say what we hear according to report. But those who have followed the face should come out and tell us. Now, Sunday Oliseh is saying the NFF told him, according to reports, that this set of players should not be involved because they spoil the dressing room. But me, Oliseh, being the big name that I am in quote, had a chit-chat with them and said, give me the opportunity to bring these guys. And he said, I gave them the opportunities and they joined the team. So you could see there's a whole lot of rift in between. It's not even about Musa Guzal's time now. The NFF, it's not even about his time. It's something that it's a long time this began. So you look back to the national team and you begin to worry and you begin to ask yourself questions, what is going on? You would know that a lot is really going on in the section of the Nigerian football. But let's talk about this one now, controversy where Sunday Oliseh claims NFF dictated Super Eagles squad to pick. I won't be surprised to share this. We heard according to the report. But aside this one, we've known, we've heard, we've done listening about that. We heard about the NFF trying to instruct the coach of what player and what player not to bring. How does it work? The other time we talked about it on the show, Finidi said, he was saying, according to reports, that some players are NFF boys. You don't touch some players on the team. You don't touch them. When I say don't bring these guys, don't bring them. This one is my boy. And how does it work? If I was in the position of the NFF, I would say I will keep my mouth, I'll keep my hands off entirely from this. Let the man that has the job do the job, because this is how confused this section is. John Eno, the sport minister, is urging the NFF to make things right, getting a world-class foreign manager. Now, it's a sport minister talking to the NFF who should be doing this job. It's so tiring. How do you, okay, let's check the rank. Sport minister, the NFF, the coach. You check the rankings. One man is on top, one comes second. How does this work? It's so appalling. It's not even nice to share that the NFF are not even doing something right, and the sport minister is telling them what to do. Now, it boils back to the national team where the NFF is telling a coach of who and not. I mean, let's think about it. How does it work? But quickly, let's give it an update now. Sunday Oliseh revelation of NFF interference and player selection during the Super Eagles coaching tenure sparks uproar. Now, Nigerian debate football governance amid allegation of favoritism. Please hear me well. And corruption. This one is big. In a recent revelation, Sunday Oliseh, former coach of the Super Eagles, disclosed that during his tenure as the Super Eagles coach, the Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, the body, that name, when I call the name, I used to be angry because so they make it right, instructed him not to call certain players to the national team. I don't want to say the NFF does not have a right. Don't get me wrong. Don't say in VOP TV, in Voice of People Television, in the Voice of People TV, they are not saying it right. Don't say we said. I love to say it according to the way it stands. The NFF themselves, you gave a job to a manager. Okay, let me talk about Oliseh's statement. Oliseh's statement shared on TV and radio has sparked widespread reaction across social media. Many Nigerians, I mean you, expressed distrust in the NFF management of the national team, with some criticizing the interference in coaching decision. Do you know what happens when you confuse a coach? Even if I'm the best coach in the world and you want to tell me, that's why you want to tell me what to do. It won't work. You can support, you can suggest, but let me take the glory. Let me do the job I'm paid for. See, in the foreign sector, in Europe, you see managers wanting to come, like Mourinho's second coming to Chelsea. He came in big. He had his ultimatum on the club, not the club on him now. He said, this is what I want, and he tabled it. I mean, Ten Hag did that with Man United. So this is why sometimes coaches come with a hardcore request, because you don't want to tell me what to do on the job. If you don't trust me, don't give me the job. Supporters of Oliseh commended his integrity and understanding of Nigerian football, suggesting he is the best local candidate to lead the team. Others lamented that such meddling hampers the team potential and undermines fair selection process. Now, if you're telling the manager who to bring and who not to bring, it would confuse the manager. Now, what do we have the scouting crew for? There are people who go out to search for players. There are people who go out to search out for who do we bring and who should we not bring. You should be playing, I mean, that's a record for me. You should play first team football in your club side, not second fiddle, before you join the team. Now, it means that the NFF will say, oh, Olayinka is playing well, let's get him, call him, bring him. You tell a manager of, it's not making any sense. Okay, so quickly, you look back at this and you begin to wonder who is the right man for the job. But then, for everyone we've talked about, everything we've talked about, please, on all this talk now, what do you think? What do you make about the set questions? The Oliseh, the Finidi, the Mikel Obi talk, the Emenike not calling up the Enyeama, all of this. What do you have to say about this? Drop your comment in our section on the YouTube, please. Our Voice of the People TV. Let me get you. Let me even feel what you're saying. Let me even know if we're on one face. Because I still wonder here in the studio why the NFF would want to tell the manager what not to do and what to do. You can suggest, don't get me wrong, they are the big face we see. You can suggest to a manager, it's okay, but telling him not to invite a player. So if an NFF side or if a man in the NFF body have an issue with a certain player, it means the player will lose no matter how good you play. Don't call him. Why? And also the Mikel Obi podcast talk with Sunday Oliseh. Do you think Sunday Oliseh was the worst manager Nigeria have ever had? But don't forget, I'm not saying that. It's not you saying so. John Obi Mikel in his podcast, Obi One, has come to say that during my playing time, Sunday Oliseh is the worst manager. He said he's clueless. He don't even know what to do as a manager. He's so confused that the players watch him and be like, what? Is this a coach? But Sunday Oliseh has come out to say I don't need to justify myself to the kid. They call him the kid. Is he being sarcastic? He called him a kid. Like, he said, I don't need to justify myself to the kid because my son is 27 years. So do you think this sounds insulting? Because Mikel will be a kid. I'm talking about both men who have managed the national team. This is a rift that has gone past, and they are bringing it out now. So Mikel Obi has a podcast that he can unveil whatever he wants to say. But Sunday Oliseh will have to go to a radio station or possibly a TV station to talk about this, according to report, or possibly on the roadside. But also, let me even say this. This their scenario is looking deep. Because Sunday Oliseh said, he said, and I quote, I won a lot of laurels at the Dutch side. I have the coaching instinct to change a team. You cannot say I'm not good enough. It's not on you to say if I am a good manager or not. And then it still calls him a kid. So do you think? All right, quickly, let's get your comments coming, and let's take this comment quickly before we move forward. This one is coming from Adeyinka Osunoyi. I hope I got it right. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce the name well. But he said, but Oliseh said he was told not to call those 3 players because there were problems in the national team. Yes. And also Michael Farmerwell says NFF pays the bill. They can decide who and who can play. Coach and NFF should work together on who they want to play. Please, this one is very big. I want to say again, Michael Farmerwell has come to say that NFF pays the bill. They can decide who and who can play. Coach and NFF should work together on who they want to play. Now, with this statement, thank you so much. Keep them coming. I don't know if let me say what I saw, but I would agree with one part. NFF and the coach and the coaching crew should work together. Perfect. 100% record stands out. But on the part where the NFF, do you realize that this NFF people we are talking about, most of them don't even know so deep about the game? Do you realize? Sunday, what's his name? I can't recall. Anichebe said they should be disbanded, they are clueless. And the reason he said so was, he said, what is their criteria? What are the criteria of bringing a coach? What do we have a measure? What's our yardstick on bringing on someone? And the man I had on the show the other time said the NFF pawned out the job on Finidi because they were under pressure and just nothing to do. Now, let me tell you the disadvantage of this. If the NFF said or says a particular coach should not bring a certain player, so let's say it's right now. Michael, please quote me if I'm wrong. Who's the best Nigerian player at the moment doing well? Okay, Ademola Lukman, in quote. If Ademola Lukman is having a rift with the NFF or certain body, one man in between, so it means no matter how good he plays abroad and winning the Europa League, he shouldn't be called because they pay the bill. Does it make sense? Keep your comments coming. Quickly, let's talk about this one. A possible return. Sunday Oliseh are open to Super Eagles return despite disastrous false stains. Do you want to see Oliseh back to the national team? I don't know if you want to see that. But in an intriguing interview, former Super Eagles keeper Sunday Oliseh has sensationally offered his services to the troubled Nigerian national team. The football legend explosive comments come as the team finds itself embroiled in chaos following Finidi George a catastrophe stint at the helm. Okay, Finidi, appointed in March to replace Joseph Pesero, spectacularly crashed and burned, lasting a mere months before being forced to resign after a woeful run in the 2006 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. His brief tenure saw Nigeria humiliated at home in a draw against South Africa before suffering a shocking defeat to Minos in the game, even though I don't want to believe that Minos anymore in African football. Talk about being a republic, leaving their World Cup hopes hanging by a thread. In a heart-wrenching appeal, Sunday Oliseh declared, let's not deceive ourselves. I only have one country. Forget that I have German Pali. Nothing brings me more joy than my people. Now it's coming back to us. Okay. The former midfield, Mestro, passionately added, if my country wants to speak with me, I will answer. I can also give a technical assistance because we need to qualify for the World Cup. Oliseh sensational, come and get me, you can say. His comment means come and get me. Come 5 years after he's infamously resigned, he left the job as the Super Eagles coach. He said, you will recall that when I was on this job, I never got the support I needed. You will recall that when 41-year-old Sunday Oliseh took to social media to announce his resignation, citing contract violation, lack of support, unpaid wages, and benefits to the team as his reasons. Now, 5 years on, the former Borussia Dortmund star seemed ready to bury the hatchet and come save his country. Now, I think I can ask Oliseh who is deceiving who, maybe. Just saying, I don't know. I can ask him who is deceiving who in this part. He wants to come back. He needs the job if it's opportune. He doesn't sound hungry though, but I know he will want to be in that phase. But if he wants to be on the job, he said, I don't mind saving Nigerian football at this point of shambolic play because we need to be at the World Cup. Same Sunday, Oliseh said he didn't get support from the NFF, and you are wanting a job or technical advice from a set of people you already said they never gave you support. I feel like if he's going to advise the NFF on being better, it will be okay, and maybe possibly suggest on how we can move further from here. Because let me even ask this question. Do you think Oliseh is right? Do you think Oliseh will be cool enough? Do you think Oliseh have what it takes to take Nigeria to the World Cup in this position now? It's a big one. Can Oliseh make Nigeria Super Eagles go to the World Cup with the way we are placed in the group at this point? 5th. And it's that so big. Now, looking at it again, Oliseh, let me say, playing wise, like Mikel said, playing wise was okay, no doubt. But coming to manage Nigeria Super Eagles at this point, can he do it? Some people have said that he's so, he's disciplined to a fault that you fault yourself. So they said his man management is not okay, it's not top notch. You heard Mikel be saying, he talks to players, he talks to the physiotherapists, anyhow, he don't even mind how you feel. So it's not me saying I didn't play under him. So those in his team has come out to say that. Oliseh. But let's get your comments coming quickly. I would love to get more comments just on this part. The question is this. Do you think Obi Mikel has said it right? Okay, let me go with this. Michael Fanball has given me a response on YouTube. He said, Oliseh is unprofessional. Okay, thank you. You can say that if you want to say. That's your opinion. You know, it's big. Anyone can say it because it boils down to say that Nigerian football is in shambles. Now, everyone is just talking. Why is Oliseh revealing to us now? The players NFF said he shouldn't bring to camp. Vincent Enyeama, Emenike, and then Mikel Obi. And he said, so you did good by bringing them to the national team regarding what NFF have said. But why is all this unfolding now? Mikel Obi has said his own that Oliseh, is Oliseh even that so worse? Because some people are saying clamoring for Oliseh to come back to the national team. Do you see Oliseh having what it takes to manage the Super Eagles? That's another talk, a question for another day. But let's move to the next one, coach search. Super Eagles is in hot soup. Let's talk about the multiple award-winning coach who has revealed why he rejected Super Eagles' job. He said, JJ Okocha was begging me. Former Al Ahly coach Peter Mosimane, that's the name, has revealed that the Nigerian Football Federation held talks with him for the Super Eagles job, for the coaching job, but he refused due to his emotional attachment to South Africa. The Super Eagles coaching job has been a big problem in recent months since Jose Peseiro left the job. In the recent months, you can say, after the Portuguese tactician left the coaching job, the NFF side opened applications that many managers had to apply. However, they opted for Finidi George. Are you seeing how the NFF are working? If someone says they are undecisive, they are clueless, they know nothing about the game, you will not even think twice about that. See, a lot of managers applied for the job. Lot of managers. Before we had those two games, the South African and the Benin game, a lot of managers applied for the job, but the NFF deemed Finidi George fit. So what happened to the rest applicants? So if you say Finidi George is the best man for the job, then he should stay more. You shouldn't give him a short period of time. That's how it works. If you trust the manager, you give him the job. If you don't trust the manager, go for the best. Now they are wanting to use our money, waste our money, and get a manager. Where's the money? We are still talking about the $4 million that was won, that we got in the Nations Cup, how it will be shared. It's still a problem. Now, let's talk about this one now. The NFF opted for Finidi George, who has served as assistant coach interim, you could say, to Pesero. However, that decision has gone according to plan, or has not gone according to plan, as the Super Eagles have been poor under the former Ajax man. But it appears Finidi was not always the first name on the NFF list. According to Mosimane, the calls were coming from Nigeria. The talks were there. JJ Kocha was leading this thing. He was begging me. But you know, South Africa and Nigeria were in the same group. It's not too nice. It's unpatriotic because I want to see my team, the South Africa, play at the World Cup. Pitso Mosimane also went as far as saying, but also, let's not forget, work is work. You can never undermine, you can never underestimate, you can never deny a chance to coach Samuel Chukwueze, Victor Osimhen. These players are unbelievable. These guys are top-notch players in the world. In my opinion, Nigeria struggle with system or shape of how to play. The problem is when you have too many good footballers, good players, it's nearly the same as Brazil, where you have too much talent and the coach doesn't even know who to play, where to play. You know, the coach is impatient when the game is not looking good, and you make changes when you have somebody else on the bench. That's impatience. I didn't consider the Nigerian job because of my emotional attachment to my country, South Africa. Nigeria never put a deal on the table. It was just talk. They only called me from the federation. In football, he has advised again, Mosimane Pitso has come to say, in football, a contract must be on the table and signed. If that's not really happening, then there is no deal. Let me go back to Mosimane talk, and let me say this. Imagine a South African advising us, and I can say he's insulting us. He said something that struck me. He said, in my opinion, what's your opinion about Nigerian football? What's the major problem to Nigerian football? He said his own is, Nigeria struggle with the system or shape of how to play. The problem is when you have too many good footballers, good players. I love to say this. It takes a good manager to manage good players. You can't be a manager or an average manager and you want to manage a valuable team. It won't work. Can I give you, excuse me, let me even say this. I love to use a Man City Pep Guardiola side as a sector. Let's say, do you think, let me look for a manager who I wouldn't say that's so big. Okay, maybe. I'm thinking of a manager who I would just place as less. Okay, let me not disrespect any manager. But then, I don't want to call some names so they don't feel like I'm trying to throw these to some managers. But looking at the way it goes with the Nigerian setup and looking at that of Man City, you cannot bring a manager who don't know it big. When I mean, you don't need to be big to know the philosophy of the game. No, don't get me wrong. When I say big manager, some managers are unknown. Pep Guardiola was unknown. I started displaying from the Barcelona team B and he kept proving himself. Nagelsmann is young. He's not up to 35. Well, look, it's not more than 35, better word. Look at what he's doing with the German team. So you don't need to be a known manager to be good in what you do. One time, 1 game, 2 games, 3 games shows. Vincent Company might be young, but he managed Burnley. He's now the manager of Bayern Munich. Why was he signed? Because there is something about him that they can see, and it's very visible. So Mosimane has come to apologize. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Has come to advise Nigeria that we lack a lot. But still on the South African news, we know the talk about South Africa and Nigeria. But they've advised us now, saying we should change our mind, change your focus. Forget about the 2026 World Cup. South African tells Nigerians. Now, tell Nigerians, you know how funny this is? The South African story, they are now telling us to forget about the World Cup. We cannot make it to the World Cup. And Oliseh now is coming to say that he can be the Messiah. If you need my help, we need to go to the World Cup. I can do it. Which manager do you even see? Because it's crazy when I think about it. Which manager do you think can take Nigeria to the World Cup? Or is it done? Like the Yoruba would rightly say in Nigeria, Sokwe Otilo. Let's get your comments coming quickly. Let's get on those comments before we move to the Europa scene. Now, okay, Michael Fabo has come to say, Oliseh is toxic, not old enough, too childish. While Ayokunle Adebisi has come to say, when we were getting a new coach, all I can say is that there is no money for foreign coach. It's a recipe for disaster when this coach search. Okay, and he went as far as saying, for For me, Finidi should have stayed. To be honest, we lack some elements in the current Super Eagles team, which is not the problem of the coach. Oh, I would love you to tell me more. He said, for me, Finidi is setting up something, though not no result yet. So a patient would have worked. Why Michael when I saying, how many games can Super Eagles lose out of the 6 left and still qualify for the World Cup? Okay, that's a question for me. You need to win all your matches. You need to win all your matches to be out there. Why at DBC when I saying the option of foreign coach by the NFF unsettled him? It means they don't trust his ability. Therefore, he needs to leave. Yes, you're right. And of course, he needs to leave. Our time is up on the show. We can't do more. But quickly, let's go more. Let's give you another one again about well deserved. I want to share this one. Nigeria Ademola Lukman wins African Best Player Award in Ghana. But then I feel like I'm not happy enough. I'm not done talking about the NFF because I have a lot to talk about. I have a lot to share about. I have a lot to say to criticize this body that is governing the game of Nigerian football. Because right now, you don't even know if it's the manager that's the problem. If it's, okay, where's the money? We now want to bring the foreign manager. So we could have done this before now. And we said we are going to pay Finidi 15 million naira. And now, looking at the story now, we are going for a foreign manager. Let's even say, let me not sound like I'm talking on TV. Please tell me, which foreign manager can come and turn the table around? Can we still make it to the World Cup? Or are we just hoping as Nigerians? Because we like to believe. Our name is BOB, based on belief. We believe a lot. Can any foreign manager take us to the World Cup? Will a local manager ever manage Nigerian Super Eagles? That's the question. Please drop your comments and let's go. Even if I can't read them here on the show, hopefully for tomorrow, I'll bring more. But let's let you know this one, Ademola Lukman's story and how he looks now. Well deserved. For me, he's won the African Best Player Award in Ghana. And that's the good news. He went ahead of, Edmond Tapsoba and also ahead of Victor Osimhen. Well deserved. I can say Gianpiero Gasparini, the Atalanta manager, has done well for Ademola Lukman over time, changing his game and style. And Ademola Lukman is a man that I love so well because he's just like a man that plays for the Iruka Online. He never settles for less. His story is big. He has come from a distance, and at some point he felt like I'm losing out and no, I'm poaching, and this man has won the Europa. Guess what? In the Europa history, his name would never be taken off. He has set a legacy, a record that even your born kids will talk about. His name is Ademola Lukman. Please, when you see that man, recognize him. He's a very big player. And also, can we see him win the CAF Player of the Year? Is anybody in contention? Can we see anybody overshadow that man? Time will tell. But quickly, let's get the final comment. But I'll let you know that good return. Moses Simon has resumed training to Nan's side. And then a good news for the Super Eagles. And also Dare to Dream say, let's get a Jurgen Klopp to coach Nigeria. Jurgen Klopp to coach Nigeria. I don't want to ask if we can pay him. I don't want to even believe that there's no money. Can we coach a Jurgen Klopp coach Nigeria? That's a question. Because I asked the question, which foreign manager? But quickly, let me let you know that the Europa and also the U24 is still very much on. And then we already have the fixtures out there. The Turkey side got the result right yesterday. Good goal from Demiral. Wonderful goal. A fastest goal, 58 seconds accounting. And that goal for the Turkey side, fastest goal for him and his team. They won yesterday against the Austrian side. I'm sorry for Ratnik. And then it's a good news to say that they will be playing on again. And then I'll give you more update. Don't worry. Also, we have for 5. Jerry will be here to tell you more. Don't miss out. Well, thank you so much. Keep your comments coming. We'll talk about it when I return tomorrow. Please keep a date with me. Tomorrow will be 11 a.m. Nigerian time. We'll talk about this. And also this NFF will not settle till we are done about this. Thank you so much to everyone behind the scene for keeping it cool with me. And also you amazing viewers out there. Thank you so much. Tomorrow will be another day. We have the midday news coming up next. And that will be for 12 p.m. Nigerian time. My name is Kizzy K. I remain the only football player without a jersey. Tomorrow, I'll see you.